If an opportunity arises and it makes you feel really nervous, you have to take that opportunity. Because that's an indication that obviously it's out of your comfort zone and you're only going to grow from that. So any opportunity that makes you really nervous, do it. You have to do it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is James Grigson. This is Sophie Pidcock. We're here at the beautiful Brisbane Boys College gym. Sophie, thank you very much for coming on. Really appreciate it. So Sophie here is the Director of Strength and Conditioning for the Brisbane Boys College. You also look after the First 15 rugby union team. So a lot of responsibility. For people that don't know, the First 15 GPS competition is very big deal. Yes. Very, very needed in Brisbane. Yes. And incredible journey that you've been on so far. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to come and get you on here, because I think you're right in the thick of it. You're on the climb, but there's been so much work that's happened already. You know, we talked about this before, like a lot of people will do the interviews with people that
right at the top,
or 50, 60 years of age, 20 plus years in the industry, and I wanted to sit down and speak with you to understand how much work's gone into just getting here, because this is an incredible achievement, even just in our industry, to get paid to be an S&C coach. It is not that everyone does it for the money, but even to just have that security of financial freedom in this industry is awesome. So you actually interned here. Yes, I did. A number of years ago. Take me back to you coming out of university. You said at QUT? Yep. So coming out of university, were you doing this type of work during your undergrad, or was it something that you jumped in straight after?
So I actually started my intern here while I was at uni doing my hours for the Australian Strength and Conditioning Level 1 course. So that's how I ended up here. So doing free crack hours to tick that off. It's how I ended up here while I was still at uni and finishing that off.
And then you also did some work at St. Peter's Lutheran. I think that's how we first connected with each other, because I did some work there as well. Was that the train?
Yes.
That's
so
good.
Crack there as well. And that was just trying to get feet into different doors and try out different things and learn as much as I could throughout different areas and environments, I guess.
And that was within the undergrad, or was that?
Yeah, that was during uni as well.
So a part of the prac hours, or was that something that you went out?
That was completely separate.
So what was the drive there? Did someone say, hey Sophie, I think it would be great if you tasted a couple of different environments, or did you just naturally have that instinct?
I just wanted to know more and get out there a bit more. I think that's what's important. You can't just expect things to come to you, so you've got to go out and do it yourself, I think. So. And
that mentality come from anywhere, or just within?
It's just me, I think.
Yeah?
It's me, yeah.
So those times as an intern, what would be the biggest difference between yourself as an intern, maybe with a few weeks or months of experience where you might be able to take some ownership of a session, the Sophie today versus that Sophie as a strength coach in the gym? What are probably one or two key differences that you would identify straight away?
Well, I think the main thing would have to be obviously much more confidence in myself and my abilities, and knowing that I know what I need to know and being able to bring that out into how I coach and interact with students, athletes, other staff members. I think is the main difference, just that confidence and knowledge.
Confidence and knowledge?
Yeah.
And is it knowledge, or is it knowledge that, I guess, knowledge and the ability to deal with the kids? Is it more about dealing with the kids, or is it more about the knowledge base that you have about key movements, lifts, adaptations, those types of things?
It's a funny mix between the two, I think relationships and how you're able to build them is key. If you can't get on with people, or you can't get them to have faith in you and what you're asking them to do, you're going to lose them straight away. So you need to be able to do that first and foremost, I think. And then, as with any career, you need to know stuff. So that's got to come into play as well.
Okay. So how much time early on as a coach were you putting into understanding the athlete versus the education side of things, so upskilling yourself and understanding the practical implications of, I guess, even things like cues, like minute things like cues?
So, things like cues, and I think that's just something that comes with time and practice, and it's not something I think that you necessarily be inherently good at, but I think people skills, I suppose it is something you can work on, but I think also that's something that you're either good at it and can do it, or you're not very good at it. That's sort of social interaction and social intelligence, but I'd like to think that I've got that part pretty down pat.
Yeah. So you've got a TikTok account then?
No, I
so
don't.
You can relate with these kids?
Actually, that's the first time I felt old and I don't know what TikTok is.
So during the time of basically between internship and now, you've tasted a couple of different environments.
Yep.
You've gone to clubland, you've experienced what that's like. What's probably for the younger people or the younger strength coaches, what would be the fundamental difference you would find between the school environment and a clubland environment as an intern / kind of assistant?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think in a school environment, it's much more structured and the gym is already here, the boys are already here, and we tend to find here at school we're dealing with the kids that really want to be here, and so they're quite engaged with what we're doing in here. Outside of here, it's a little bit different. People are older, obviously, so you don't have that same level of authority in a sense. So also I'm younger and a female, which again makes it harder to really engage with often male athletes that are older than me or have been in the sport more. So that's probably the differences there, and it's hard to balance.
So how have you mentioned that challenge of being a younger female and going into that environment? Maybe, I know you've had some stints in rugby league as well, traditionally obviously very male-dominated sports. What are some of the tactics that you've employed, maybe some of the lessons that you've learned about dealing with those types of situations?
So it's mostly rugby union that I've been involved in, and it's just a matter of really just appearing confident. So really being confident in how you're speaking, trying to engage with them, trying to build that relationship really quickly. That's sort of always my first goal when I get into somewhere new, especially with older people and with older males that I don't have the authority over like I do at school. It's always get that relationship down pat first and just really appear as though you know what you're talking about, even though you might not. Just they've got to think that you do. So I think that's the really important thing there too.
Interesting. So your role in BBC and some of the roles that you're doing at the moment, I know you're working with the women's Reds team. Yeah. Is that 7s or 15s? 15s, right. So is your role mainly within the gym, or are you doing some elements outside of the gym? So you know, obviously programming would be a big thing, but is there anything outside of strength and conditioning that you may be looking at and facilitating for those girls and here as well? Yeah, so it's an all-inclusive thing. So I think that's what people don't realise. So strength and conditioning, it's not just gym and running and fitness. So with the Reds girls, for example, we need to monitor their wellness. So how they've slept, how they're eating, their stress levels, which bits of them are sore and how do we manage that. There's field management. So often head coaches, they reckon they're the boss, but I actually think S&Cs are the boss. We pull them up when we find that they've done too much running, too much contact, the session's running over time. We time the blocks, making sure that the GPS coding is all done. So timing blocks, writing down time, splitting data, recovery. There's so much involved in it, and so that's at the sort of with the women's Reds, but then at school it's a whole other level because we don't have physio. So I'm physio strapper. We don't have psychologists, so I have to deal with the psychology side of things. We don't have nutritionists, so I have to give nutritional advice and supplements, or advice and supplements. So it's many hats. Yeah. So would you, the amount of experience that you, by the sounds of it, in this school environment, is really setting you up for a very diverse knowledge base. Yes. Would you say the school environment's more conducive to that, or is that just what has happened?
No,
here?
Definitely. In a school environment, it's less pressing, I guess. Like you can't mess it up as badly as you could with a professional team. Like you can try certain things and see how bodies react to it and see if your plans worked, whereas if you try something at that higher level and it doesn't work, you're in trouble then because that's on you. So I think that's what's good about this sort of environment. You can test things out.
Yeah, and it sounds like you can become a bit more of a generalist.
Yeah.
You can really become
Yeah.
a really good, solid generalist, and then
Jack of
maybe...
all trades.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, interesting. Now, you mentioned one interesting point as well. I did set you up for that S&C
Okay.
ramble, though. That was
Yeah.
quite good. I'm glad that happened. I did hear one thing about managing other departments, so head
Yep.
coaches.
Yep.
You even spoke about liaising with physios and,
Yep.
and those things. What are some of the challenges that you faced in liaising with other departments? Any things that you went into the industry and went, oh, I didn't realize how to do that and manage this person?
Yeah. Head coaches, and so with head coaches, they always want this, and this ticked off, and we have to do it all within this time frame. We have to do it all within this session, and that's sort of a gap that I think still needs to be bridged. And I would imagine across many sports, but the head coach is not having enough of an understanding of what we do need to do as S&Cs and how we do need to manage and what we can do to manage and why, particularly in terms of loading. So that's hard, having to try and educate head coaches as well as players as to why we're doing things. So how I like to try and work is not just say, this is what we're doing, or this is what I want you to do, but say, this is what we should be doing because of X, Y, Z, and really try and teach people why we need them to be doing things a certain way.
Is that more in a club environment that you found that, or is it everywhere you've gone? Everywhere you've gone?
Yeah, everywhere.
And is there a balance here with parents? That's the other stakeholder. Do you have to have any of those conversations with parents here?
I don't. That normally goes through the head coach first, and then sort of gets...
Lucky you.
Yeah, exactly. Gets dispersed to the relevant party. But no, I haven't had to deal too much with parents. Obviously, we do try to, as I said, educate, and information will go out to kids and their families so that they can see a who, what and why sort of situation, but not too many problems in that sense.
So a new team comes in, right? You haven't seen them before. Let's keep it in the school environment.
Yep.
What are some of the key things that you're going to try to address first with this new cohort of athletes?
So we have a new team coming in here, so it's basically what I say goes.
Yeah.
What I say goes.
Yep, you're the boss. Yeah.
And basically, if they've got problems with things, or they don't like how things are set up, or they want to try something different, then just come talk to us. We're more than happy to sort of work together. We're on the same team. I just want happy, firstly, athletes and healthy athletes. So let's just come to an agreement there and work together. They're basically the main things. I'm the boss, and let's work together.
Yeah. So how do you set that tone of you are the boss? Is that because I know it might be tough to actually articulate and speak about, but like you'd mentioned, it's one of the first things or one of the biggest struggles that you said about coaching is trying to set authority, and depends on the environment, of course, but what are some of the tactics that you do, or maybe you don't want to reveal your secrets in case the new cohorts are watching here and they know what to look out for. What do you do to get authority from
the team? And that's a funny one and a hard one, because I'm not a little person, right? But when I have 30, first 15 rugby players in front of me, I feel like I'm tiny. So
they're 16, but they're
huge. Yeah, really big boys. And it's just, again, like I said earlier, just appearing really big and confident and loud in how you're approaching them, and happy and a bit of fun as well. Like, crack a smile, but still, like, just got to be really direct with them. I found has been the best approach, and right from the get-go as well. So set those standards right at the beginning, and then you can sort of relax them a little bit once everyone sort of gets into a routine and understands how things need to work.
And the way in which you articulate those standards, are you the type to write things up on the board? Are you just by action? Do you verbalise that as soon as they walk in?
Yeah,
how do you do that?
So we'll come together initially just in front of the board. We'll talk through our programs. They'll all have their own hard copy that they can write on. We'll talk through them, talk about obviously movement standards, and really outline what our general standards are. So everything has to be done within the program. Don't skip things, don't take shortcuts. another way that we make sure standards are met is, as coaches, we have to sign off on their programs, so they bring them to us. We sort of talk through what they've done for the day, and just really making sure that they're accountable for what they've done and relating it back to their sport. So we're not just doing this because we think bench press is a good idea. Like, this is why bench press is in here, or little control exercises. Like, this is why we're doing it. It's not just for fun. So there's reasons behind everything. So yeah, articulating that with them, I think, is important as well. And
that creates authority and respect as well, because they go, oh, okay, well, she knows what she's talking about.
Exactly.
I guess that movement will help me in a scrum or whatever it may be. Interesting. So you're, like I said at the top, there's a whole lot of work that's gone into where you are now. What's next? What are you thinking about?
I don't know. Hey, I'm quite happy where I am at the moment. So full time here at school, and then couple of extra little side hustles there with the Reds, and it's fun, keeps me busy. I enjoy it still. I'm learning a lot still, which is fun. I get to do a little bit of travel with what I'm doing, so obviously with school camps and things like that, but also pre-season's just about finished with the Reds girls, so we've got games as of next week, and so we're travelling to Perth and Canberra. So I don't know, I just think it's a good place at the moment just to continue learning and meeting people as well, which is important.
I'm really happy that you said that, because I think that a lot of people in university, they just go, okay, I want to work for insert professional team.
Yeah, you've got to start down here.
but I don't think that that doesn't have to be the end result either.
No, not at all.
When I was doing some S&C, I was looking around and thinking, I think I just want to be in the school environment. Like, this is a place that has some nice security. You feel like you're making an impact. It doesn't, the be all and end all isn't always the professional world.
And that's it. I mean, with the professional athletes, it's only this much improvement you can make with them. But with kids and in this sort of environment, there's this much improvement you can make. Like, you can have so much greater impact, I think, on lower level athletes and younger athletes than on the top end ones. And that's what I really enjoy.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And like I said, something that if I had stayed in this world, I would have definitely pursued. So for people that are in university, that are either studying at the moment or that are just coming out, what would be the first word of advice that you would have for them?
If an opportunity arises and it makes you feel really nervous, you have to take that opportunity. Like, because that's an indication that obviously it's out of your comfort zone and you're only going to grow from that. So any opportunity that makes you really nervous, do it. You have to do it.
Well, I'd love that. I love that. And then in terms of maybe further learning or things of that nature, are you more academically minded, or are you thinking that you get your postgrad and really just go taste? Where are you sitting on that spectrum?
So I don't think I'll go back to uni. Sort of have been tossing up going back for physio, but that'll be a lot on my plate. It's just a lot to do there, but I think just keep taking it as it is at the moment, just trying all the different things and practical sort of elements, and like I said before, meeting people and teams and sports and things like that. I think will be the way that I'll continue going.
And would you give that advice for someone that came out of university as well? Would you get them to go taste, or?
I think it's really comes down to the individual. I mean, if you're not enjoying it, then go back to uni and find something that you do enjoy. But equally, if you do really enjoy what you're doing, then I don't think you need to keep searching for something else. I mean, you're happy. So,
is there anything else that you wanted to get off your chest? Anything about the work here, or what you're doing, or anything that you would want to say to a young S&C?
I just think it's important to really get out and try many different things. You need to really meet many different people, make sure that many different people know you as well is what's important, because eventually, like, I'm sort of almost at a point where there's people around town and they're like, oh, I need an S&C to cover this team, or I need help covering the Reds Academy team. I'll get Sophie to help. So if you can really get your name out there and have people know you and know what you do. You do have to do a good job though. You have to be good at it. Then that's going to get you a long way as well.
How do you do that?
Just go to all of the sort of professional development opportunities that come up. Go and help out at places without expecting much. Or, I mean, often you won't get anything in return, but just being there, just being a presence, just contacting a club and being like, hey, can I come and watch training? Or can I come and run waters? Or go to another school, can I come check out your gym? Like, just get in touch with people. I find this field is, this field is really good for like open doors, I've found. So you can just get in touch with anyone, and most often they'll be like, yeah, come in, come have a look. So I think that's what's really good about this field. So many opportunities to meet people and check out places.
And it's more being known by the other coaches than necessarily.
So who knows you, not who do you know?
Yes. And when you do, so I find people do that, right? So it's a big step.
Yeah.
DM someone, email someone, whatever it is, hey, can I come? And they get to the session, and then it's like crickets.
Yeah, so be active in that session as well. Ask them questions, talk to the athletes, get involved. Like, no one is going to be bothered with that. So just get your hands in there and get involved.
So if you've said to them, I want to come watch training, you're with that S&C where it's appropriate, you're asking them the reasons why they're doing what they're doing.
Not just standing in the corner. Yeah, for sure.
That's great. I love it. Proactivity.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much, Sophie. I really appreciate it.
No dramas.
Thanks.
Hey, if you watch this video all the way through, you're a legend. And if you like this video, I think you'll also enjoy one I just did with Lachlan Crichton. He owns 3 Anytime Fitness gyms, and the video's right there. You can also subscribe there, but the video's there. So if you want to hear from me and Lockie, shooting the breeze, he was my former boss, owns 3 Anytime Fitness gyms, used to play for the NRL, right there. Subscribe there, video there. Subscribe there, video there. See you there.